Good morning, Cyber Warriors. Going to talk to you very briefly about the netstat using in Ubuntu using the command line terminal or the bash shell, depending on who you want to talk to. So let's get right to it. Let's take a look at our old friend netstat, right? It's not a bug, it's a feature. Netstat is not included with Ubuntu 20 and higher, so you have to install it. So we need to sudo apt install net tools.
Three hours later.
Okay. All right. So here we go. We've got netstat and we're ready to go back in. And netstat. There's a whole lot of stuff that it's not very useful for us in this format. So what do? So we pass it a bunch of arguments to make it easier to understand. And because some of these things are requiring administrative or root level permissions, we need to use the sudo command. So sudo netstat, and then we're going to throw it tulnp. These are the ones that we have found to be the most use for those of us in the Cyber Patriot and also real world. And you notice that it is very similar to the netstat that we had with our command line stuff from PowerShell and command prompt. So this gives us the ability to look very quickly to see the process ID, the listening state, all of those sundry bits of information that we received previously with the other stuff. So just wanted to show you that it's just as useful, just as easy to use as we had with the previous versions. And we can do some basic filtering using grep and a few other things, but I will go into grep in another video. All right. So just wanted to show you real fast that netstat is a thing. It doesn't necessarily exist at the beginning when you're running it, so you have to install it. Don't forget to install, or if you get that error message, that's how you install. Alrighty then, Cyber Warriors, what did we talk about here just very briefly? That was the net tools and installing the net tools so you can get to netstat. And using the command /tulnp, which is not a command, it's the argument. So using that argument allows us to view the information in a familiar fashion to those of us who are more familiar with Windows, whether we're using it through the get net TCP connection or the netstat command within the Windows command prompt. We're going to use this in a very similar fashion, search for different things we know shouldn't be there. And it's just making sure that with Ubuntu 20 and higher that you're going through and installing it. So there's just a handful of commands associated with that. As per always, I hope you learned something. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.